mess with my audio levels.
That's right.
Like that.
I do it just to tick you off.
All right, so I'm going to ask this one because we just talked about it. It has to do with in-between properties. We're talking about properties near the Tyler area. And this kind of is close to home for me because in the last 3 months at our lake property, there's a house that's selling a few houses down. I've walked over there and seen people peering through the windows. Are you breaking in? What's going on? They don't have a key to the lockbox. They can't look at the property. They like the property. And by the way, side note, guess what all those people have in common?
I have lots of guesses, but since I could say something dumb, I'm going to say I don't know.
They all have either a spouse or a family member as their real estate agent. But the question is, what do you do in the case of an in-between property? And I want you to explain what that really means to a listener, because this is a big deal as far as marketing property like that, because a lot of people that are looking for lake property are from Dallas or Houston.
Right. Okay, yeah. So Brian knows what I'm about to say, and I didn't know where he was going with the question, but we help Brian and his wife and kiddos find a really great lake property for their family and their needs. And a lake home or a mountain home or a ranch style home, we don't do a lot of mountain property here in Texas, but we do lakes, and we actually do a lot of property on land. Those are, in some ways, they're just like your home because they're going to fit your needs, right? What do you need? A big house, a small house, a big lot, a small lot? Do you need waterfront? Do you need open lake? You know, do you want off water? Do you want sort of the inlet off the water? You know, budget and needs and pricing and all those things. So that's a big factor, and that's one of the reasons you would want an expert. One of the other reasons you would want an expert is because of what Brian meant when he said an in-between property. Honestly, right when you said it a second ago, I thought you meant like quality and style of the property. And then when you said they couldn't get in the lockbox, I realized what you mean. Okay, so let's just take a lake, for example, like Tawakoni. Okay, Lake Tawakoni is northeast of most of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, right? It's southwest of Tyler, or west of, you know, most of East Texas, let's just say, right? Now, there are different MLSs, multiple listing systems. If you don't know what that means, basically, if you were to go online, all the houses that are for sale by real estate agents in one area are typically put on a shared database that everybody pays dues to be a member of and to provide the technology, right? So in Dallas, Fort Worth, we have a big one. Houston's got a really, really big one. East Texas has one. Abilene, you know, different areas have different MLSs. Okay, if there's a property in between, to Brian's point, let's say it's east of Dallas but west of Tyler, you might ask yourself the question, which one of those MLSs does this property belong on? Well, the best answer is both. But you know, it's totally fair that if an agent lives and works in Tyler all day, every day, they do the vast majority of their business in and around Tyler, they would be on the Tyler MLS. If they do the vast majority of their business in Dallas-Fort Worth, they would be in what we call NETRIS, North Texas Real Estate Information Systems, NTREIS. That's the MLS there's a lot of acronyms. That's the MLS for Dallas-Fort Worth. Well, they would only do that. Well, if an agent who works almost all the time in Dallas happens to go list a property in East Texas and only puts that on the Dallas MLS, they're missing almost all those buyers from the Tyler MLS, right? And the same thing can happen in reverse. If you only put it on the Tyler MLS, you're missing all the Dallas buyers. That's a lot of information to say. A lot of those lake properties are going to be bought by families in Dallas that are buying them as a second home. To be honest, statistically, they're a lot more likely to be bought. But sometimes they'll be marketed by a Tyler or some other. I keep picking on Tyler. Tyler's a wonderful place, by the way. But if you're in Tyler and you happen to list one of those properties, it would be wise to partner with an agent or to get access to the MLS in Dallas, because most of the buyer population is going to come from Dallas to look at those homes. What Brian's talking about is a property that was probably only listed on another MLS and not in Dallas. Therefore, some of those Dallas agents can't find it online or can't get access to it through a digital key box. It's somewhat laughable because the simple solution is a non-digital key box, like the old combo box. And there's kind of a myth out there that those aren't as safe and secure. By the way, you're listening to Texas Real Estate with Todd Tramonte here on WBAP. But there's a myth out there that those are not as secure. It's true that that one box is somewhat less tamper-proof if it's digital. But if what you're worried about is a criminal is going to get in with one of those tools they call a boot or a crowbar or an elbow. They're going to break a window or kick your door in, right? So the lockbox itself is kind of mostly tamper-proof. Now, I'm not an attorney. I'm not a law enforcement professional. So let me just throw out that little, what if there. But the point is, if you've got a combo box that's not specific to your local MLS, then anybody can get into it as long as they call you and get permission and you give them the combo in exchange for some, security information or whatever. But there are simple solutions to these problems. But a lot of agents aren't looking for those solutions because they're doing it the one way they always do it no matter what. And they're not slowing down to think through what are the potential problems that may arise and what are the potential solutions that we could create here. So without getting into attacking one individual agent, they might have reasons that they're doing it that way. But there are solutions to these issues. And so if you're finding people that are coming to view a property and they just can't get in, that should never be a problem. Those are easy problems to solve. An agent that's really eager to sell a home needs to find it, and really more than anything, needs to eliminate and preempt those possible problems before they ever actually become problems. And so these are the things that people run into when there's not the right strategy. There's a lot of good intention. There's maybe even a lot of hard work. But the strategy, the systems from being a world-class expert, from being consistent and doing these things all day, every day.
And all these people were from Dallas, so they all had to go home. They didn't come back.
Well, that's a long drive,
right.
And the drive home is not one where you're complimenting that agent, that property, that opportunity. It's where you're fuming because you took 90 minutes plus to get out there, and now it's 90 minutes plus to get home with nothing to show for it. Not even like, well, we saw it and we didn't love it. It's like we didn't even get to see it. We're never coming back. Forget that freaking place. Maybe forget the whole lake. Maybe forget that agent. Everyone's getting scorched because of a very simple problem that could have been solved. Should never have been a problem.
I appreciate that because I wasn't asking the question to have you rail on anybody.
Yeah.
It was just because I felt bad for the people involved. I felt bad for those people.
For the client.
The client who
Right.
drove all the way to see a property and then they can't see it and they're looking through the window.
Yeah.
And then I'll just say this and we'll ask the next question. They come to me and say, would you mind telling me what you paid for your property? Because I'm in the neighborhood.
Right.
And I said, would you mind telling me why your agent can't pull that information up?
Right.
And they're like, well, anyways, just felt bad for the people. And it could have been fixed by having the homework done by the real estate agent.
And I'll add one last thing too. I'm not picking on any individual agent, any company. That's not what we're here to do. I'm not here to badmouth, I don't even want to say a fake name because it might be a real name. There's so many agents. But I'm just saying, I'm not here to pick on any one person, any one company, right? What I'm saying is, as an industry, we've done a really bad job of demanding and requiring expertise and commitment. And therefore, people have gotten in well-intentioned, but still they've caused a lot of harm. So that's the point we're trying to make.